We will push maximum. We will do it.
Formula One is awesome.
Dangerous and fast race.
Completely crazy. Speed, G-forces and crashes.
Has pole position!
And he goes to the top of the board. And they're underway, and they explode away from the dock. 10,000 horsepower as they race through the sunshine. And look at the fire on that boat, hoping to see Paul Shepard.
Torrente tries to get on the inside there, and boy number 2.
Gone over at Celio. Oh my!
And that's what it's about, man. It's about being smart.
They're off. Grand Prix race is underway.
Side by side, and there's a problem over in the far corner. We get the green flag started. We're back underway in full power. Problem on the race course. Oh my! Terry Renker.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
I know it's not my
I'm
fault.
not going to say that you.
I'd rather wreck than let you buy.
Johnny L. Quimsey and his teammate.
Let the next.
And they explode away from the dock, and now they fight their way out. And now Celio's got problems.
He's in trouble yet again.
He's at the top of his canopies to actually come off. Take the checkered flag, first career victory.
And Carella wins. ...2013 marked a milestone, the 30th season for the UIM F1H2O World Championship. And what a season it was, as the world's premier powerboat series was raced over 3 continents. Here's a look back at how it all unfolded in 2013. The UIM F1H2O World Championship kicked off its 30th season in the UNESCO World Heritage City of Brasilia for the first ever Grand Prix of Brazil. This is a city with a beat and a soul, with plenty of fun to be had. There was a carnival atmosphere as Brazilians gathered in their thousands around Lake Paranoa to watch the fastest race on water unfold. There were 16 drivers from 8 teams competing in Brazil. The man to beat, 2011-2012 world champion Alex Carella of Qatar team.
We had a good test this winter, so I think we find new good solution, and we feel comfortable that we can start the season how we finished last year.
Carella's biggest rival is the Finnish 2-time world champion Sami Celio of Mad Croc Baba Racing Team.
Yeah, it will be very tough and long season for us, so it will be interesting.
But Celio and Carella's biggest threat isn't the racer with the most wins, Francesco Cantando, nor is it the 3-time world runner-up, Daniel Kamzi, or even last year's world runner-up, veteran Philip Schiapp. It's a guy who had yet to win a race, Sean Torrente. He's a teammate to Carella, but a rival to Celio. Torrente and Celio have a history of rivalry that culminated in a spectacular collision at the Chinese Grand Prix in 2012, which left both drivers out of the race and led to Torrente's suspension from racing.
Sammy, he's a good racer, he's a world champion, he deserves to be respected, there's no doubt about that. However, as far as a person, that's a different story. The only thing he does better than racing is whine, so let him whine, I'll continue to drive my boat, and then we'll see what happens.
Another welcome return to the F1H2O Tour was Ahmed Al-Hamali of Team Abu Dhabi, the young Emirati back to racing following a serious illness. In the all-important qualifying for pole position, Sean Torrente set a blistering lap time to nab provisional pole ahead of his teammate Alex Corella. Sami Celio had his work cut out for him, and he nearly lost it as he pushed all the way. Torrente had pole in his palm, but Celio recovered and just nabbed pole position ahead of Torrente. So the first race of the season pitted Celio and Torrente against each other at the top of the starting grid. The race was on. Celio led the pack on the starting straight, but young Chinese driver Zhang Ziwei had a tumble. He was out of the race right at the start, and that was a yellow flag. There it is again from Rinaldo Ascolati's on board. At the restart, Celio led with Torrente second and Corella third, with Jonas Anderson of Team Azerbaijan off to a good start in fourth. Anderson makes a move on Corella, trying to nab third, but Corella has a superior speed and reclaims third spot from the Swede. Francesco Cantando of Singa F1 Racing Team has started last on the grid due to an engine change, but he put in the race of his life to overtake one boat after the other and moved up into 6th position after passing Ahmed Al-Hamali. 2012 world number 3 Thani Al-Kamzi of Team Abu Dhabi passed Philip Schiap to move into 4th position, with Sami Celio still in the lead. Further back, Celio's teammate Philip Rahms barrel rolls, doing a complete 360. The young Finn was unhurt. At the restart, the top 3 positions remained unchanged, and Celio with his first ever season opener win. Torrente runner-up with his first ever podium, Alex Corella third, Al-Kamzi fourth, Schiap fifth. Great result from Cantando in 6th.
Yeah, of course. Victory here in the Brazil, first time in my career I get the first victory in the first race of the season, and it's great.
Sammy just had the thing to beat this weekend. He was really fast. I had 2 opportunities in the race, one real one where I got next to him, but it was in traffic, you know what I mean? When I can make it up and pick and choose my spots, it's always easier.
Great start to the year for the 2007 and 2010 world champion Celio. And it looks like this could be the year he wins world title number 3. The second stop of the season was Kiev, Ukraine, a 1,000-year-old city with a young and dynamic population, as well as some magnificent historical landmarks and monuments. The governor of Kiev province, Anatoly Przazhnyuk, got a taste of being in an F1 machine. Changes in the lineup: Bartek Marszalek of Poland joined Singa F1 Racing Team, and Thomas Walston in Team Azerbaijan. Philip Schiap of China CTIC Team had a brand new boat designed and built by David Moore, and everyone took notice as he set some blistering lap times in practice. The President Cup match race is always a crowd favorite as drivers go head-to-head in a best-of-3 showdown on an alternating long-short circuit. The big surprise in round 1, Moritz Stromoy eliminating Sean Torrente in a photo finish. In the final, it was Sami Celio versus Thani Al-Kamzi, with Celio defeating his Abu Dhabi rival in 2 straight races. Sami Celio was the 2013 President Cup Match Race Champion. Celio also won pole position yet again, ahead of Philip Schiap, with Torrente starting the race in 3rd position, Corella 4th. Tens of thousands of spectators gathered for the 3rd Grand Prix of Ukraine. The race was on. Celio led the pack to the commitment buoy. Sean Torrente and Philip Schiap went neck and neck in front of Alex Corella as the boats roared down the start straight. No surprises there as Celio is first to the turn, followed by Schiap, Torrente, and Corella, with Al-Kamzi back far enough to cut in close to the turn. Celio leads the race, the double world champion holding off a spirited Chiappe who's yet to win his first F1 H2O Grand Prix. Jean Torrente is pushing Chiappe, but the experienced Frenchman holds off the Torrente onslaught. Celio encounters an electrical problem and slows down, giving the lead to Chiappe. Torrente also overtakes the Finn to move into second position, pushing Celio down to third. Chiappe leads the race. With Celio bumped down, it was a two-horse race between Chiappe and Torrente. And Chiappe does it! He wins his first ever Grand Prix race! Carella and Celio battling for third place as the crowd watches enthralled. Carella has it! He overtakes Celio to finish third. Torrente gets his second runner-up finish in a row. Contando fifth, Anderson sixth, Alcamzi 7th. A well-deserved victory for Chiappe and his new boat.
I'm very happy. First race with a new boat. For my boat builder, it's incredible. For my mechanic, he works a lot for this result. For me, 10 years.
That puts Torrente on top of the world standings, just a point ahead of Celio, with Chiappe moving up to third, Carella fourth, Alcamzi fifth. For round 3, the UIM F1 H2O World Championship headed back to Liuzhou, China, a modern, bustling city of 4 million people situated along the banks of the mighty and majestic Liu River. This young, dynamic city had the honor of hosting a historic 250th F1 H2O Grand Prix.
For me, I remember each of those events, and each one has something special for me. So I'm very happy to have reached 250 Formula One Grand Prix. I think in powerboating history, we are the only series who has done so many events. And definitely we look forward to arrive to minimum 500.
The favorites in home waters, China's CTIC team, with Philippe Chiappe fresh off his first ever win in Kiev, and youngster Zhong Ziwei in just his second season since moving up from F4S. Sami Celio is back at the scene of his horrendous 2011 crash. Having also crashed out in 2012, Celio will be feeling the pressure. A new driver for Team Azerbaijan is American F1 champion Terry Rinker, racing in boat number 15. In the qualifying, it was Alex Carella who broke Celio's two-round hold to nab pole position. Torrente starting second on the grid, Celio third, Chiappe fourth, Alhamali and Anderson 7th and 8th, Rinker starting down in 15th. Thousands of spectators lined the shores of the Liu River in anticipation of the start. Carella and Torrente speed off to the commitment buoy ahead of the pack. Celio third, Chiappe in fourth position. When Carella has pole, he's very tough to beat, and he's driving with a mission ahead of his teammate Torrente, with Celio trailing the Qatari boats in fourth. Liu Xiong slows down and then comes to a halt as Chinese hopes now rest solely with Chiappe. At the restart, Carella deals well with a bunch up, maintaining his lead as soon as the green flag goes up, with Torrente holding off Celio. It was at a restart last year that Celio and Torrente had that fateful crash, but they seem to be keeping their distance from each other this time. Torrente has a problem. Celio, Chiappe and Alcamzi pass him by, but he manages to keep on going in 6th position, scrapping with Jonas Anderson in 5th for the rest of the race. The two battle it out, but in the end Anderson holds off Torrente to finish 5th. The winner of the China Grand Prix, Alex Carella. Sami Celio runner-up, Chiappe third, ahead of Alcamzi. Good result from Al Rubayan and Marsalik, and Roms finishing 9th. Alex Corella is back at the top of his game, this win rekindling his hopes for a 3rd consecutive world title.
Back to win is really good, especially in this moment of the championship like last year in China, so now it makes me comfortable for the rest of the season.
Corella moves up to the top as joint world standings leader with Sami Celio on 44 points apiece, with Schiap 3rd and Torrente dropping down to 4th. The F1 H2O Tour headed for the Middle East, with Doha providing a stunning skyscraper-studded backdrop to round 4. Touting itself as the world capital of powerboat racing, Doha, Qatar is an adrenaline junkie's dream and has hosted races from virtually every powerboat World Series, from F1 to Class 1, UIM Nations Cup, F4, and Aquabike. Caldwell Racing were back with new driver Paul Shepherd of South Africa racing alongside Italian Ivan Brigada with their unique 4-stroke engines. In qualifying, it was another Qatar team 1-2. Torrente starting 2nd behind Corella in pole position. Good result for Anderson starting 3rd on the grid ahead of Celio, Schiap, and Al-Kamzi. Al-Hamli starting in 7th with Cantando in 8th. Race day. The race is on, and Celio crashes out alongside Francesco Cantando right on the first turn. There it is from another angle. Celio is out of the race before even a single turn, as is Cantando. Not that Corella and Torrente had any complaints about that, as the two dominated at the restart, with Anderson behind them in 3rd position. Portuguese pilot Duarte Benavente of F1 GC Atlantic team overtakes South African Paul Shepherd of Caldwell Racing. Torrente literally flying there as he laps the back markers, but he manages to regain control. There's been a race-long duel behind them between Anderson and Schiap for 3rd place. Schiap misses a buoy. That will prove costly. Corella has problems and starts slowing down. Torrente catches up and comes in tight on that turn with Terry Rinker on the inside. The two collide. Rinker is out. There it is again. Torrente sees his chance on the inside, doesn't see Rinker there, and the two collide. The American F1 champ was unhurt. Alex Corella comes to a standstill with just 2 laps to go, and that gives the Grand Prix win to Sean Torrente. He celebrates his first ever Grand Prix win, but Rinker was not happy.
You come from lane 4 and you have 4 boats and he goes to lane 1.
But you were doing that every lap.
Brandon,
you can't say that you didn't do it.
I feel terrible for Rinker. I had no idea he was there. I was literally passing for the lead. That's all I was looking at. So I hope he's all right. But finally. I'm sorry, number 1, baby, Qatar.
Jonas Anderson successfully held off Schiap for 38 laps to get runner-up position, his best result in years.
Yeah, for sure. It's 4 years since I was on the podium in Formula 1, so I'm very happy to be back where the team belongs.
Disappointment for Schiap, who was 3rd at the finish, but was later disqualified for an engine infringement, giving 3rd place to Al Rubayan with his teammate Benavente 4th, Stromoy and Roms with their best ever results in 5th and 6th. Corella heartbroken with a 7th place finish. Torrente shoots back up to number 1 with that win. Corella bumped down to 2nd, and a disastrous 0 points round for Celio and Schiap. The season continued on to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, an impressive city full of incredibly grand architecture. It's a week-long water sports festival that also included Class 1, UIM Nations Cup, and aquabike racing. All eyes were on the local heroes, Team Abu Dhabi's Ahmed Al-Hamali and Thani Al-Kamzi. There was mechanical trouble for Qatar team as both Carella and Torrente had to change engines during practice. Also a new boat for Sami Celio following his crash in Doha. Riding on the high of his first ever podium was Yusuf Al-Rubayyan. In the qualifying, Shiap set the pace early, but it was Sami Celio who came out with all guns blazing to win his third pole position of the year. Carella third, Al-Rubayyan 5th, Stromoy starts in 7th, Torrente starting way down in 11th after another engine change. The penultimate race of the year in this, the 22nd Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the longest standing Grand Prix in the F1 H2O series. The race is on as Celio leads the charge down that starting straight to the commitment buoy. Shiap outpaced early on by Celio and Carella, who moves up to second before the first turn. There's a huge crash. Al-Kamzi and Al-Hamali, the two Abu Dhabi drivers, crash into each other and they're out in spectacular fashion. There it is from Al-Hamali's onboard. This time, on the restart, Shiap does better, maintaining his second position ahead of Carella, with Celio again leading proceedings. Torrente makes a spirited fight from the back to pass boat after boat. He passes Yusuf Al-Rubayyan to move up into 5th position, just behind Moritz Stromoy. Up in the lead, two-time world champion Sami Celio maintains a 2.5 second lead over the very fast and very determined Philipp Shiap. Alex Carella lost his cockpit canopy, but kept racing in 3rd position. Liu Xiong clips a roller and crashes out of yet another race. Yellow flag. On the restart, Carella makes a dash to try and take Shiap, but he didn't have aerodynamics on his side. Behind him, Moritz Stromoy and Sean Torrente had locked horns. Torrente trying to prod and poke his way past, but Stromoy having none of it as she held on tenaciously to 4th. The final lap, Sami Celio runs away with the win. Shiap runner-up, Carella 3rd. Stromoy goes one better than her previous best with a 4th place finish. Torrente salvages a 5th place finish after starting in 11th position. That moves Celio back to the top, 2 points clear of Torrente and 4 ahead of Carella, going into the last round in Sharjah. Round 6, Sharjah, a thriving modern city with a proud Arab heritage, where the final round of the 2013 world title would be decided. For these 9 teams, a whole year's hard work comes down to this. After 5 rounds, the championship is still wide open, with just 4 points separating the top 3 drivers. Alex Carella, his teammate Sean Torrente, and Sami Celio. The winner takes all.
Man, I don't know if I can get it, but I want it really bad. Sometimes I feel like I want it more than my next breath, so we'll do everything we can.
Definitely I want to have the pole here and win here in Sharjah. It's very tight in the points and I want to grab my 3rd title here, so let's see. I will give it all.
But it was disaster for Celio as he crashed out in the 2nd qualifying session, which meant he'd have to race with Philip Roms's boat instead and start from the back. More misfortune when Paul Shepard's boat caught fire, the Caldwell driver having to jump in the water to escape the flames. Schiap set a very fast time, but it wasn't enough to beat Carella, who got his third pole position of the year, with Torrente again second on the grid, followed by Schiap, then Alhamali, Anderson and Alcamzi. Celio all the way down in 13th. The final minutes to the final race of the year. Nerves were taut. You could cut the air with a knife. This was it, the culmination of an entire year's effort, dedication and focus for 9 teams. The race is on. Carella and Torrente lead the field to the commitment buoy. Carella is there first, Torrente second, Schiap right behind Torrente. Leo's Young in a duel with Bartek Marsalik. Way back, Celio already having moved up into 8th position after the first turn as he passed Yusuf Al-Rubayan. But then he slowed down, and Celio's race would never improve from there. Back in the lead, it's Carella leading Torrente with Schiap giving chase, still with a chance at the title, but only if neither Qatari boat could finish the race. Coming around buoy number 4, Dani Alcamzi goes out wide as Philip Schiap moves up on Torrente. The two boats neck and neck going into the right-hander. Alcamzi also comes in at the last moment. Schiap goes around Alcamzi on the inside. Torrente nudged out on the outside. That shuts Torrente out. Schiap moves into 2nd position ahead of Torrente, and that's a big blow to Torrente's title hopes. Into the final few laps, Carella so close to his 3rd world title he can almost taste it. Schiap gives chase, but to no avail. Alex Carella wins the Sharjah Grand Prix and his 3rd consecutive World Championship in a row. That moves him just 1 championship shy of matching Guido Cappellini's record of 4 in a row. Schiap runner-up, Torrente 3rd. Carella, the 2013 World Champion. Torrente, World runner-up. Schiap 3rd. Celio 4th. Stromoy ends the year in 8th, ahead of Cantando and Alhamali.
We did it, it was amazing. My team this weekend worked like crazy until all the night, and wow. Thanks to all Qatar team, my Brendan, Sean, I mean, all the guys, they helped me for this championship.
For me, finishing 2nd or 3rd doesn't matter. I just want to get the maximum points I can get that day. So I'm really happy, man. I thought I'd be crushed I wouldn't win, and I am upset, but man, I was suspended a year ago. I didn't even know if I was going to race again. So to be here, 2nd in the World Championship, it's a step, and next year we take 1 more step.
I'm very happy for my team. I'm very strong this year, and in my heart, for my team, we are champion this year for sure. And next year, we come back more strong.
And that brings to a close an amazing year's racing. 2014 promises to be yet another thrilling season for the UIM F1H2O World Championship.